Hi everyone, it's Carissa at Sprinkled with Glitter, and I am here with a card project for you today. Today I'm going to be making a photo card, and I have this stamp set by Maya Road. It's called You've Been Framed, and I love the little Polaroid frames on it. And I was thinking, with all the Instagram pictures that we're all taking these days, or a lot of us are taking these days, it would be a fun way to use this stamp set on a card and make it a picture card to share with family members that maybe don't live close to you or aren't on Instagram, or just, share photos with family, grandparents, and that sort of thing. So I'm going to be using that stamp set. I'm also going to be using the Simon Says Stamp Handwritten Sentiments, the Mini Hearts die set, and this Kelly Purkey Simon Says Stamp like stamp. So it's like a little wood-handled stamp. So I'm going to set this stuff aside, and this is actually a fairly easy card project. I have a white card base here, and you can see the photo that I'm going to be using. This photo I just printed from my iPhone. It's actually a professional photo that I just happen to have on my iPhone, and it's more for demonstration purposes than for anything. It's not actually one I'm going to be sharing with family members. But I printed it out at a small size, and I do have a little printer. It's a Canon Selphy CP900 that prints directly from my iPhone, so this is just the easiest way for me to do this. But I do have a video showing how you can resize Instagram photos and things like that and have them professionally printed on my channel. So if you go back in the past videos, you will find that resizing and printing Instagram photos. So hope that helps you out there. But I'm going to set the photo aside for now, and I have a white card base here, and I'm going to be stamping the chevron Polaroid frame on the front of this. I've totally lost my train of thought there for a second. So I'm going to be kind of stamping it over to this side on an angle right there, and I'm going to be using the Stampin' Up! Calypso Coral for this. And I just thought it would be fun to use a little bit different color than what I've been using lately. So that's how I chose this. Now this again is one of those solid stamps, and I find that the easiest way to stamp some of these solid images is to use my stamp press, because that allows me to get even pressure on the entire stamp. So I'm going to ink this up. Okay, so I have that image stamped on there, and I have a little kind of bare spot, but that's okay with me. I could try to restamp this again, but I'm just going to leave it for now. The next thing that I'm going to do is actually take my X-Acto knife, and this one is by EK Success, I believe. All the stuff is worn off of it, but I really like it because it has the retractable blade, and so I think it's a little bit safer to be keeping around in my craft room. It's not a tool I use a whole lot, but it is nice to have it around when you are wanting to do a project like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut out the inside of this frame. Now, if there's a little bit of white space showing, that's okay, because I can take a marker and kind of correct that later. But I'm just going to start by cutting this out. Okay, so as you can see there, I now have that cut out of the front of my card. And what I'm going to do is, when I actually finish up this card, I am going to attach this photo with removable adhesive inside the card, so that when you open the card, the photo will be inside and you'll be able to remove it and then keep it. So I'm actually not attaching it to the front of the card. So there is that. Now, if you wanted to, I don't know how well this will pick up. There, I did that freehand. I did not use a ruler. I just slowly and carefully scored over and over the same line. There's a few little portions of white space, and if you wanted to, you could actually take the same color marker, that Calypso Coral, and just kind of run it along the inside of that to kind of clean up those edges. I really don't think it's that noticeable, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it on my card project. So I just have a scrap of white paper here, and I'm going to be stamping that like button in this Pool Party ink from Stampin' Up. And so I'll just ink that up, and I may have to stamp it a couple of times, and that's fine with me. We'll see how good of an image I get on the first time. I'm going to be cutting it out, and placing it on the front of my card. So I have that cut out, and that eventually will go on the front of my card like that. I am going to use this washi tape, and I'm not sure where it's from, but I will have it linked over on my blog. It has some coral colored hearts, some more pinky coral. This is more of an orangey coral, and some clouds, and it brings in that blue again. I'm just going to tear off a piece of this and put a little piece on both the top and the bottom of this stamped image here, just to kind of make it look like it's being held on the front of the card by this washi tape. And then I'm going to use the Sending Love Sentiment from the handwritten stamp, or the handwritten sentiment stamp set from Simon Says Stamp, and I'm going to stamp it right here along the bottom, and I'm just going to use some black ink for that. And I've been loving this VersaFine ink lately. It is a pigment ink, but it dries fairly quickly and gives a really nice crisp black image. So if you're looking for a good sentiment, black sentiment ink, I really rate this one high. So I'll just ink this up. And I am going to stamp it right here in this lower right corner. I'm going to use my grid mat to make sure I kind of get a straight stamp of it. I've taken the mini, let's see what it's called before I get it wrong. I'm gonna dig through my stuff here. It's the Mini Hearts die set from Simon Says Stamp, and I've cut several of these little kind of pinky hearts that match the washi tape that I have here. And I am just going to kind of scatter them down the front of the card, kind of cascading around the photo and down into the sentiment. And I will attach these with some liquid glue. And I kind of have them in a position that I want, but in order to make sure that I have, you know, them scattered correctly around my little like button, I'm just going to go ahead and attach the like button with a little bit of foam adhesive. Now this card mainly is pretty flat, and the reason is because I figured this would be a card that would probably most likely be mailed, and so I didn't want to add a whole lot of bulk to the card. And to attach the hearts, I'm just going to use this little Zig two-way glue pen, and I'm going to pick them up one at a time and just kind of add a little bit of glue to the back of them and then attach them to the front of the card. Okay, so I have all my hearts attached with that two-way glue, and I am going to now add my photo because I am going to add a little bit of stickles to this front part of the card. I don't want to try to attach this with that wet stickles on the front, so I'm going to go ahead and attach this. And how I'm going to do this is I'm just using some Tombow Mono removable adhesive, and I'm going to coat the back pretty generously. And I'm going to take this, and from the front side, I'm going to get it lined up where I want it. And I'm just kind of toying with the placement, and then when I get it where I want, I will go ahead and make sure that I press it down really well. And in order to not get fingerprints on it, I'm going to use just the back side of this little plastic case that I have. So now that's attached to the inside of the card, but it's still removable, so whoever receives the card can still take that photo out. And then for the final step, and that's how it looks on the inside. It's nice and clean. And for the final step, I'm just going to take some of this silver stickles and I'm going to add it to this heart here on the like. And I'm just kind of drawing it in there. I like to kind of squeeze it out and then use the tip of the applicator to smear it around. Here is my finished project for today. It's a really easy, simple card that you can create to share those Instagram photos with maybe some relatives that don't live as close or who aren't as connected as the rest of us. I hope you enjoyed this video. You can check out links to all of the products used on this video over at my blog. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching.